I'll be here a while. You just sing a Bad Brains part at the end of the song. And this is
from I and I Survive. I wanted to do an ad-lib, and nobody's better at ad-libbing than HR.
This is the connection that people might wonder.
I remember a guy on a message board saying, I hate that song, I'll Be Here a While, because he rips off Bad Brains. I was like, no, I was giving it props.
Yes,
like, if you're a punk rocker, you knew where that came from.
Exactly.
And it's an homage.
Hello, welcome. It's HardLore time. How you doing, Bo?
I'm doing really good. Where are we?
Deep in the valley, as we should be, as I always like to be. We're here for a very special reason, a very special occasion on a very special day.
Well said.
As it is March 11th, or March 12th, or whenever you're watching this. We've got an unbelievable guest on this show today, everyone. We've got the highest grossing artist we've ever had on this show. That's a fact. Alternative rock pioneer. Genuine household name. Founder and vocalist of one of the first bands that either of us were probably ever coherently aware of at all.
Yep.
Founder, and did I say founder and vocalist?
That's okay.
Nick Hexum of 311.
Hey, happy 311 day.
Yeah, all right.
Thank you. Thank you for
Perfect.
spending it with us.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
What an honor.
This is super cool.
How are you?
Doing great.
It's beautiful.
But we're not in the valley. We're in the Santa Monica Mountains Preserve. Just disappointing.
I didn't want to dox you, you know?
I'm always talking about Topanga.
Okay.
There we go.
Topanga to me is an extension of the valley, you know?
It
What's
is-
the area
It
code
does
up
go.
here?
The road goes through the valley, and they call it Topanga Mall, which is like nowhere near actual Topanga, but whatever.
And maybe it was named after the gal from Boy Meets World. Let's address the elephant on the beach here. That is, what a shocking revelation it is every time somebody, like I'm sure you experience all the time, every time somebody finds out that 311 is from Omaha, it's probably like a what do you mean type thing, and you've been getting it your whole life.
Would have said Long Beach.
Let's
No problem.
Let's walk us back to young Nick in Omaha, discovering music. How did that sound, that attitude, that style make its way to you?
Well, I liked the Beach Boys. The West Coast surf culture type of thing. It fascinated me, and I was very lucky that me and my sister got to take a lot of trips with my grandparents all around the Caribbean, Hawaii. So I just loved being at the beach and building sandcastles, and it just kind of drew me out there. And then hearing Bob Marley just elevated me to a different place in more ways than one, the elevation. And so we all came out here. I came out here first in '88 when I was 17. And then after floundering around the Sunset Strip for a little bit, we're trying to find some guys to make a band with, I realized that my homies from Omaha were my best collaborators, and
Omaha homies, if you will.
yeah, went back to Omaha in 1990 and started 311. Then we all came out together in '92. But I have to say, we're very proud of our Omaha roots.
We have both toured. We've played Omaha a lot, especially being from Chicago. That's kind of the first stop going west after maybe Quad Cities. And we have heard stories of like, oh yeah, when like 311 are around, or if 311 crew,
yeah.
they come to the bar, it's like, lords of the city kind of thing. So once I discovered it, I never forgot it. But it was still shocking nonetheless when I did realize that you guys were true Midwestern familia.
Yeah, big time.
And Omaha was a great, like, a lot of touring bands tell us, like, the Omaha crowds, man, they just give you so much. Like, they're not jaded. And we've had that where it's a little harder to get LA crowds
course.
whipped into a frenzy because they like see so many shows all the time and blah blah blah. But in Omaha, they give you that energy. So we had that launching pad from the start. Like our first gig was opening for Fugazi of all people, and just the place went buck wild.
He printed that out.
Let's talk about it. Check it out. Walk me through it.
Okay, see where it says Fish Hippos? That was, so what happened was we were called Unity. Me and Tim and Chad had a band. And
Sick.
then we got back to Omaha at different times. Like Chad had been jamming with Peanut and they came up with the name Fish Hippos. And then
You don't have to hold the flyer.
yeah, I called him and just to say what's up. And he was like, dude, we got a gig opening for Fugazi. And I was like, that sounds awesome. He was like, why don't you come back and sing? And I said, okay, but can we change the name from Fish Hippos? And so then we talked about it, and Peanut was like, well, I did a talent show under the name 311. And I was like, I love it, just a number. And then he said, well, it's also the police code for indecent exposure.
Read that.
And I was like, I still love it. Let's do that. But I really liked, it was kind of that Gen X mystery of just like having a number. And
Totally.
Were you a Fugazi guy or a Minor Threat guy?
oh yeah.
Okay. We'll get there.
Take
I'm
me
a-
there.
I'm a
Yeah, let's
punker.
take me there.
You want to go?
Let's go back to, tell me your roots in punk music.
How'd you find it?
My buddy Joe Brady's older brother, Mark, had a great punk collection. And so I heard The Clash from him, and it just blew my mind.
And those are your guys, right?
Yeah, that is like my number one. And also like the OG punk from England, but then also the next generation of LA punk and, like you said, Minor Threat and Bad Brains, and but I love heavy music too. I have always just tried to be super eclectic and just follow the muse, as we were talking about before, wherever it leads. But yeah, definitely punk was huge for me. When I heard, it was the Clash's first album, the self-titled one that was the green album in America and a black album in England. And the first performance I ever did was a school talent show. And when we were called a tribute to the Clash, and we were slated to do 2 Clash songs, Police and Thieves, which was actually a cover, and then a song called Protex Blue, which I found out later was about condoms. But and then we basically kind of had a mutiny that we had our friends start chanting encore, encore, and then we ripped into Should I Stay or Should I Go?
Oh yeah.
And
Gotta give the people what they want, you know?
and then the music teacher ran out and unplugged our amps. So all you could hear was the drums.
But that's best case scenario for proto-punk guys, you know?
right.
Yeah.
You did it.
Revolution.
You started the revolution.
That's right.
Amazing. So aside from the Clash and early punk, I had also read that some big first steps for you were Margaritaville
First song on guitar.
and Rapper's Delight. And I think when you combine those 3 ideas, it's like there's 311.
Wow.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Kind of crazy.
Oh, and The Entertainer.
Of course,
little,
obviously.
little ragtime piano.
You got it, no
I've
problem.
got my piano here. Though I don't play much piano. My oldest daughter Echo is incredible at piano, but yeah, I just like to be all over the place. But after the Clash, then maybe the Chili Peppers, Jane's Addiction, Fishbone, which those were happening in LA, so that was like a big draw to come out and like go to Club Scream and see Jane's Addiction and meet the Chili Peppers at their show in the Palace, and it was very exciting time, like to have like funk combined with punk rock energy.
Grew up punk listening to funk.
There you go.
I got you. I'm with
He
you.
knows his shit.
I'm with you.
So the name was changed. Indecent exposure was the police code in Omaha for it. Were you aware of the rumor of what 311 stood for? Of course you were.
No, please tell me.
Oh, really? Of course you were. For anyone
Which
wondering.
one?
Yeah, right. The K is the 11th letter in the alphabet, and the thought was like, oh, they're.
Come
It's
on,
just
dude.
like, but it's the same thing.
3Ks.
Yeah.
We have nothing. We were the opposite of the KKK.
course.
But there was my friend's band called the 88. They ran into the same thing because
Yeah, big
88
time.
is HH.
Of course.
And yeah, it was. It's hard to believe when such a ridiculous rumor comes up, but there's something about something so salacious and like controversial that makes people believe it the first time they hear it. So it's actually an interesting like sociological thing.
It really is.
That some people would believe it before really even looking into it. And that the craziest part is that our high school, me and Tim and Chad went to Westside High in Omaha, and they actually banned 311 shirts because they believed it.
Oh my god.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And my brother was at that high school at the time, and he was like, I'm not taking my shirt off because this is bullshit.
Yeah.
And then the story actually made it into Rolling Stone, and that was our first kind of mention of getting really like into the conversation.
In that context, awesome.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
Right. But I guess, they say all press is good press,
I
but
get
yeah.
it.
So let's go back a little bit. So tell me about the Eds, because that was how some of you first met each other, right?
Yeah, so me and Tim had a band called the Eds because our drummer was named Ed and he was just a real character. And so we called ourselves the Eds.
Just one of them, though.
And we were playing the alternative of the time was college rock. It was like REM and the Smiths and the Cure and kind of this like jangle rock. But we did it with a little bit more energy, a little bit more some punk in there. And then we started doing originals, and we were like winning these Battle of the Bands, and so from the success of that in high school, I was like, this is doable. If you're able to get a crowd going, that's the most important thing. And I've often said it in a very dated way that like some of the best, I've said this forever, some of the best musicians in the world are playing at a bar at the Holiday Inn.
100%.
You know what I mean? And now they don't have music at Holiday Inns anymore. But when I started out, they probably did. So that's where that expression has been around.
No, I mean, that's the best chess players are on the street on Hollywood and Highland.
Right.
Ever,
Yeah.
Can't beat those guys.
So, but the differentiation of being able to work a crowd into really losing their inhibitions. It's like whether it's a metal show or a punk show or a hip hop show, people moving their bodies together is a continuation of the tribal dance that has been integral to the human experience for about 50,000 years. You know what I mean? Like they say drums have gone back maybe 100,000 years, and melodic instruments started coming in about 50 and singing. So it's like a very important thing. So when I talk to people ask me for advice, I'm like, show your instrument some love every day, but take every gig and work on getting people to lose their inhibitions and move their bodies.
We say this all the time. Coming from a more punk and hardcore world, we get asked all the time, how do we tour? How do we start this? And it's just you got to show up. You just got to go. Start your thing.
Play it and
open.
And
Yeah,
lead
play
by
to
example to lose your inhibitions. Because nobody, like if you're just standing there, like that was always the thing. We probably were pretty sloppy in the early days, but we would just go off.
reps and going off.
Yeah.
So playing isn't performing,
Right.
Eventually you're performing.
Yeah.
No one wants to go to a show and see the record exactly how it's how it's recorded. You know what I mean? They want to see something. How was Fugazi at that show?
Super nice. I mean, like they're so DIY. First of all, they never charged more than $5 for a show. The $5 tickets, that was literally the price. It's probably on the flyer.
It is.
They didn't have merch because they didn't believe in it for some reason. So then people started making "This is not a Fugazi T-shirt."
Great
It's
shirt.
like-
Yeah.
Good.
Which there are beliefs that they made those, but we'll have to confirm or deny with Mr. Ian at some point.
But the thing was, they were super nice because they just called ahead like a local punker in Omaha and said, "Can you get some local bands to open for us?" And Peanut somehow got wind of it and got us that gig. So it was super DIY. We were huge partiers at the time, so we were sitting there drinking 40 ounces, and I didn't realize until after that was a pretty big faux pas to be like loudly drinking at a Fugazi show because they're straight edge, but they didn't say anything.
Who knows? I don't know that they were still straight edge by that time, you know?
I understand though.
Yeah, that's kind of you to even think that, you know?
Coming from two straight edge guys ourselves, we understand, but I don't think any of them would have really cared. So I think you were fine.
They were super gracious and complimentary, and it was awesome. And now I would be right at home with that situation. But it was, you know, we were pretty hard partiers back then.
That's awesome. Was there a lot of people?
Yeah.
It
was
always
full.
blows my mind how that band operated that way and was able to draw.
Successful,
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So you go to LA by yourself. You're seeing Jane's Addiction, Red Hot Chili Peppers. You go home, reunite with the boys. 311 is formally born. What's next? The DAMMIT record, that's first?
Yeah, so I took a student loan to fund our first record, which was probably illegal.
FAFSA records. Nice.
Yeah, and we made a cassette out of that and started selling it at the shows, and then our second record, and I called the label. I was basically like the one employee of the label. It was called What Have You Records, which is part of that. You know, what have you means like whatever. You know, it's just that Gen X kind of humor. Then we made a CD, which was like a huge deal in 1991 to actually get a CD because there was no CD burners or anything. So it was like, we've got a CD, and that was called Unity. And
you still play some of these songs. Huh?
Yeah, a lot of those songs kind of got revamped to make it onto our major label debut, which was MOSAIC. And then we made another tape, which was more of an EP called Hydroponic. And then like we played these New Music Mondays at the Ranch Bowl, which was all ages shows, and we sold it out. I mean, it would be just crazy moshing, stage diving, clothes off, like just a wild scene. And then we were selling lots of tapes and CDs to the extent that Homer's Records was the main cool record store downtown. And the guy told us, like, "You're our #1 selling album right now." And I was like, "Do you mean like local?" He's like, "No, it's ahead of U2 and Madonna and Michael Jackson, which were, you know, big in '91." And so and I was able to take that and send it to some labels. And I did a lot of bullshitting, a lot of like, you know.
You fluff the numbers a little bit.
Yeah, or be like, I'd read a name in Rolling Stone, like,
this guy loved it.
Yeah, so-and-so
Joyce
from Capitol
Myers.
Records. I'm in talks with Doug Morris at Capitol, like, just complete bullshit. Sure. But you know what I mean? It was kind of Machiavellian. Like, I just kind of felt like I knew we had something good to offer. And so started getting a tiny bit of label interest, but then we're like, we got to go out to LA. And I don't know if it was necessary. The truth is that we flew. Once we got a label interested, they wanted to see us live, and I'm like, well, you need to see us in front of the Omaha crowd because we hadn't had a big, you know, no following in LA at that time. So we flew back to do like a showcase, and they were like, this is the real deal. And so we got signed to Capricorn Records. Part of that was Eddie Offord, the legendary prog rock producer who had done like Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and and he had worked with John Lennon, and so he was just like this classic English studio guy, kind of a gentleman, kind of a wild man, part like Ozzy Osbourne and part like this mad scientist. And so he kind of took us under his wing, and part of the deal was like, well, if Eddie produces your album, then like all systems go. Let's go. And so we
Did he have much influence on like the time signatures and more progressive things you were doing?
I mean, I think he helped. Remember that he helped me see where I was rushing, because a lot of like punk rock energy is pushing the beat, and he was like, you're ahead, like slow down and like listen to the drummer. And so there was some things about performance, but a lot of it was, he was just a very, like a big engineer. Like he brought in all this gear with effects, and he actually really taught Chad especially about miking and EQing and compression, and so we just like, it was like a crash course.
Perfect.
And then music came out, and we went on the road, and then our RV burned up. And feel free to ask me to elaborate on it.
Yeah. So, but the whole band, you said the whole band moved to LA. The whole band specifically moved to Van Nuys, right?
Yes.
What do you remember the cross streets?
It was Bessemer. It was basically Sunny Slope and Bessemer. It was like near Woodman and kind of near the college there.
Valley College?
Yeah.
Yeah. I voted there. Wow. Okay. So the whole band's in Van Nuys.
Yes.
Respect. Music. Let's talk about music. Do you consider DAMMIT and Unity like super canon to the 311 discography? They're not on streaming, really, right?
No. So what we did is, it's not on streaming, but we did make a CD called Omaha Sessions, which was kind of like the best of those first 3 independent albums.
I see.
So, but kind of need to be put on streaming.
Can't hurt.
Hey, 311's just around the corner.
Pardon me.
Oh, beautiful.
It's the elevation.
So music is probably most people's first exposure, I would say, to 311.
You're right, video.
Well, the thing is that because we did the weird thing of naming our third album 311, people assumed, and that was the record that really blew up with Down. So a lot of people's like, your first album is amazing. I'm like, do you mean? They're like, the blue one, 311. No, that's actually our third album. You need to go. But we were building up a pretty good grassroots following, and that's why we named the second album that, because it was like, that was all about our philosophy. Like, we knew that what we were doing with the rap rock and the reggae, and there was no radio format that would even consider that at the time.
But Do You Right did get some MTV airplay for the first time.
Like on the show 120 Minutes, like it played like twice.
Okay. It wasn't like a...
And it got some airplay on K-Rock. And I remember we were sitting by the little pool in our little house in Van Nuys, and it came on K-Rock, and they were like, believe it or not, this band is from Nebraska. We need to move to Nebraska if this is how music. So it was like this really cool
That's
moment.
awesome.
Interesting. The big radio station in Chicago for alternative stuff was Q101, which was a K-Rock, satellite station or whatever. 311 was inescapable. In my memory of my childhood, I was born in 87. So especially by mid-90s, that was inescapable. Especially these first three records from music onward.
As of 1992, when S.A. joined the band, Spooky Apparition, right?
He's had a few.
Okay.
What's your favorite?
At one point, he was like, I'm Scribe Annihilator.
Whoa.
Was that your
Spooky
favorite?
Apparition. But the truth is that when I had moved out here and I worked and I was a waiter, and in the kitchens, they were all, the cooks were all saying, "What's up, S.A.?" And so, and being that he's Hispanic, I was like, "What's up, S.A.?" And
Wow.
it just stuck.
Wow.
Fascinating.
That's some hard lore.
Yeah. When did you guys, you two
And
specifically,
SA just means man.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
dude,
of course. Yeah.
bro.
when did you two figure, a lot of bands, Alice in Chains, who's another harmony type band.
Kenny and Pete.
Kenny
you know?
and Peter from Typo have a specific type of harmony, like a specific relative, I don't know what it is on the piano. When did you guys figure out that you could that you had this harmony that became so like a signature style?
Yeah, I mean, I have more of a baritone range. I always like to sing along with like Jim Morrison or Sinatra, or, you know, like lower vocals, and so I knew I needed somebody to sing a little higher, and then SA had just first, like, I think he was doing guest spots with us from our very first gig. Like, right about now, we'd like to bring out SA to come out and
He was already SA.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then as time went on, we'd had him start singing harmonies, and it just kind of evolved that, you know, like I said, Beach Boys, I've always loved harmonies, the Beatles, like, so it's just like the third above, that just, but sometimes we'll like cross, like in Do You Right, there's like, we'll actually cross, like I'll go a little higher and he'll go lower, just to create that interesting thing of that you're used to it staying in parallel, but then when it crosses, it sounds cool.
So early on, you knew you had that in the repertoire.
Yeah.
It's great.
And
Tim and Chad are both good singers too, but they're too focused on their playing. So to have two dedicated vocalists just worked out.
You've been the same unit of people since 1992.
Which
That doesn't happen.
damn near impossible.
Yeah. What is the dynamic like within 311 today?
What's the secret?
Yeah,
You know?
please. Get off me. Don't touch me.
A lot of touching. No.
Yeah.
I think that you have to be ready to not get your way, to be flexible, to respect democracy. You know, you might have to go down to rock, paper, scissors, but most of the time it never even comes to a vote. That's a kind of a bit of a failure of discussion when you can't just talk it out.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think for me, it's about not putting unnecessary skin in the game. If it's like not something I'm passionate about, just like, yeah, whatever you guys want to do is cool. Then there's certain things that are important to me that, like, if it's a song that is a little weird, but I really love it, then the guys will, okay, obviously Nick really wants to do this. And
Is there one that comes to mind that you were like, please guys, just trust me, I'm going to fight for this, and then ended up being a banger?
Well, I mean, I really like when I wrote Amber, it was just like, oh yeah, I got this song too, but I don't know if it's right for us. And then our producer, Ron St. Germain, was like, bro, the hook. He was like, the hook. You got to put out Amber. And I was like, well, I kind of like it. But it was very out of step with everything we had done up to that point. It's much like softer and mellower. So, and there was a song on MOSAIC called Places That the Mind Goes that I was like, I really love this song. Can we please do it? And everyone was cool. But I think that I like the Morrissey lyric, fame, fatal fame. It can play hideous tricks on the brain. But then he goes on to say, but still I'd rather be famous than righteous or holy any day. But it just, the tricks on the brain. The tricks on the brain, like it can mess, a lot of artists will think that maybe that they're the reason. You have to value your collaborators and really know that you're better together than you could be separately. And I mean, I just honestly believe that we stumbled onto something really special, and that it wasn't like a studio creation of any like producer, like, here, you and this guy get together. It was just very natural through friendship, where it's just like friendship first, and then the fun of making music, and then it turns into a business. But the friendship
Supersedes.
needs to be at the core of it.
Yeah.
And of course, where we are in this timeline too, just the fun and thrill of success and like, hey, this is working, like we're doing it. I'm sure, and then also all the hard times that are going to come with that too, be what it is, like your RV burning up before this all happened. Those are bonding moments that kind of cauterize everything and will make those relationships, because it's like, hey man, at least our RV isn't burning.
Yeah.
You know, you can always kind of fall back to that memory. So
No, it's true. Like after all our stuff burned up, I remember saying to the guys, all we need is the songs in our head and each other, and none of this stuff really matters. And we borrowed equipment and played a gig the very next night.
that's what I'm talking about.
You know, even though my hair was burned up, like
Shit.
I literally jumped through flames to escape with my life. Like it was this sheet of flames, and I was like, there was only one door, so I jumped through it, and then I put my hand in my hand. It was just ash, and it just all
Holy shit.
fell all over the place. So
The hair's looking great.
Yeah, I mean, hey.
It made it.
you shaved.
Fire be damned.
Did it?
I had burns on my arm.
Fucking
Oh my
hell.
God.
And then we were standing there in the burning hot Missouri sun in July with burns on us. But yeah, we borrowed equipment and just kept going.
So there was no like the RV's fucked, the band's done.
Not even for a
I
second.
love it.
I love that.
Love it.
Yeah.
So here we go. 311, self-titled, breakthrough phenomenon. Over 3 million copies sold. Produced by a man named Ron St. Jermaine, as you brought up earlier, who was at some point the front of house guy at CBGB's, and also the producer of Bad Brains' Eye Against Eye and Quickness.
Yeah. 2 very, very important albums. And he worked with Tool and Fishbone and Living Color. So it was this really important music to me. And he had been the house guy at Electric Ladyland, so he had a lot of stories, crazy stories about, like, he was in the Broadway production of Hair, which he said was just like basically like a big long orgy, because it was all this like free love, like, you know, hippie vibes on stage and backstage. So he had a lot of really interesting stories, and super high energy guy, like always wore leather pants and was like jumping around the control room of like with excitement. So
Which is very affirming as the people making the music.
yeah, and that's like, I think around that album is when I started dropping mention of being excitable, because I didn't like the jadedness of like people like they're too cool. Like I'm like, it's being honest and saying what you like is very important, because there was a bit of a thing in the 90s of people saying like everything sucks, and like I'm like, that's a you problem. You know what I mean? So
Seattle. That's a you problem, Seattle. Right?
Yeah. And it was actually a very prosperous time. Like, there's no more Soviet Union, and we're not going to get bombed. You know what I mean? Because I grew up in Omaha, of them saying, like, well, because we're here by Sac Air Force Base, if there's a nuclear war, don't worry, we'll be completely obliterated, so we won't have to deal. And I'm like,
oh, Jesus.
Oh, don't worry. And then, but so in the 90s, there was no, you know, it was a peaceful and prosperous time. So we were trying to be a bit of a antidote to sort of some of the downerism that was going on. But I believe in being fully saying every part of your experience, and if you're in pain, it's definitely good to put that in your music. But it also became something that people would kind of hide behind in a way.
And just kind of feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I gotcha.
I was at Tower Records with my mom. And
Yeah, no, it was a great day.
I was having a great time. So
Great day.
you reached me.
Yeah, you got that. Were Eye Against Eye and Quickness, like, are those things you go, oh, he did these, let's go with this guy?
Yeah. I was like, these are the best produced albums that I've heard, like, at the time. So can we please get him? And when he was like excited to work with us, we're like, It was a match made in heaven. And we had really, by that time, put in our 10,000 hours of gig after gig after gig. Like on Grassroots, we moved out of our little Van Nuys house and lived on the road. We didn't have a home. We had a little storage unit with our meager possessions, but mostly, we just lived on the road and lived on the bus and would go out for months at a time. So that's when we really honed our chops. And then when we went to go make
So you were very ready for
we
the
were so
self-titled.
ready.
And in terms of writing it, was that how involved was Ron? How much was written before the session actually began?
So we've worked with some producers that will really get it. Like with Bob Rock, he'll get a guitar and be like, okay, now what's this chord? All right, now how about try a different chord, and maybe on the bridge you do this lift here where you go to the major 2, like Rolling Stones like to. You want to try that? And that's a different type of producer that we hadn't been used to before Bob Rock. It was a very cool learning experience. The previous producers we had were a little more focused on engineering and just.
Okay.
But Ron was like, here's how you're going to capture the energy. Get in a room and do it like you do at a gig. So the Blue Album was played live in the studio. Everybody played at the same time. And then we went back and overdubbed vocals and guitar solos. And we were also just starting to get really into the studio trickery with scratches and samples and
you got
808s and stuff.
You got toys.
You got toys in there.
There's a couple toys I'm excited to bring up later that I want to know about.
Was this digital or tape?
Tape.
Yeah.
We stayed on tape longer than most. It was with Bob Rock on the Uplifter album in 2007 or something that he was like, you can get a good analog sound onto Pro Tools. And before that, we'd stayed on tape kind of longer than most bands.
So we're of the belief that everything musically comes from somewhere. And I've always been so curious about like the heavy elements of 311. I saw you mention Helmet as an influence.
Oh, I can see that.
Are there any other kind of like the stuff like where is that coming from?
Yes, Helmet was, and also the riffs in, the opening to Quickness. Like, it's so badass.
Yeah.
So that was something like the single note riffs it was just really happening at the time, and other like kind of lesser known artists like 24/7 Spies was doing it, and the Living Color, the Cult of Personality riff, like
riffers.
Yeah, the single note riffs were very happening in the early 90s, and then we kind of did our own spin on it. And then on our first album, the song Hydroponic was like, it was Chad's writing, that it was like taking heaviness, like his background was more on the metal side with like Kiss, like Kiss changed his life when he was a little kid. And so like those big open spacious riffs like that, and then we had some Grateful Dead influence from Tim, and Peanut liked Iron Maiden and more like that traditional metal. And so it was
the big harmonized leads and shit.
Well, and one of the best bass players in metal ever, Steve Harris.
Right. Yeah.
Unreal.
We used to check in under assumed names. You can't do that anymore. And I think Peanut used Steve Harris.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's great.
So is this a kind of thing where you finish tracking this record, you listen to the master back for the first time, and you know what you've got?
Yeah. I felt like Down was super exciting. Although the label at the time was pushing us more towards a song that had singing throughout, like Don't Stay Home, all mixed up.
which did pretty well.
Which did pretty well, but
Yeah.
Down debuted.
So it went Don't Stay Home first,
Yeah.
which did okay, got on MTV a little bit.
Yeah.
And then All Mixed Up did a little better, and then Down, which went crazy.
which was number one.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was a buzz clip, which was a big deal on MTV. Buzz clip means this is the song that everyone's buzzing about. So, and they played it once an hour.
Wow.
So everything took off super fast at that time. And I remember people saying like, well, now that you guys got this buzz clip, there's all these kids at your show. And I'm like, good.
Yeah.
There's something special about when you're that age, what a band can mean to you. You're not just the plasticity of your brain and so forth. You'll never be affected like you are to the music
100%.
that you're into in your teen years.
There's something inherently punk rock about that attitude too, because
It's not elitist.
No, and it's a young person's thing.
And I was that kid.
And we were all
I will never forget the Down video, and I will never forget the first 150 Pokemon. You know? And that's a fact.
That's true.
So the Down video entering the stratosphere kind of the we made it moment?
Yeah, there was a few I made it moments was going on David Letterman, because I used to stay up, like David Letterman used to be on really late after Johnny Carson, and so I'd stay up late, and he was just like so sarcastic and snarky and stuff. He got softer as he went along, but so I was a huge David Letterman fan. So to be on
a card.
Yeah.
You can throw one if you want, like David.
Oh, right. And then you got to make a breaking sound. When
okay. Ready, Stephen? Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah, and then opening for Kiss, which was somewhat terrifying because they're like known to have some of the most, we did get booed a little bit, but they said we got booed a lot less than some of the other bands that they had open.
They have an
at
army.
Madison
It's
Square
them and
Garden.
Slayer.
They have an army and a navy.
And a Navy. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's tough. What are 311 heads?
311, guys.
All right. What are
rose in his
311
teeth.
311 heads called? We got
Excitables or the 311 Nation.
311 Nation's pretty good.
It's good.
Yeah. Excitables. The Hive is kind of another.
That has a couple meanings for you guys, right?
Yeah, and then it became our studio, but it just came out of there was in like 94 there was some rap lyrics about this is the go for self era, and then after that I was like, no, this is 95, we go for the Hive, like we go. And then it became a lyric in that song.
Cool.
So
Sure.
it became the name of our studio, and
I like it.
I love it. Do you think the Down video is the first music video that you remember?
Madonna for sure.
Madonna
was the
then
first.
Down.
okay.
And then Down, yeah.
I was so young that
He's a little younger than me.
Yeah.
I'm 38. He's a bit younger.
the lyric, hearing you say, or essay says, "A dream of juice." I was young enough where that meant something to me.
Because
We
we were
like me too, man.
he gets me.
I can't wait to have my juice in the morning.
There we go.
Turn it up.
Juicy juice, you know?
Yeah.
This was a big. I remember thinking you were the same guy when I was young. It was the same person singing both parts, Big moment for the Spooky Apparition. This is
he's the verse.
pretty crazy.
Yeah. I mean, he's a better rapper, so like giving him the verses in Down, and like but I knew that hook that the chorus was like super strong, and a lot of, and the riffs, which I do have to credit like the Helmet influence.
You can with the harmonic thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And there's some Soundgarden influence in there, but with Chad's beats, with more of a hip hop sensibility, it created something.
And the
completely
tightest piccolo snare.
unique. Yeah. I was like, he's kind of lowered it. I was like, maybe crank it back up a little bit like the old days.
Yeah,
Like,
it's the Tiny Desk.
try
I
it.
feel like he cranked that sucker. Are you still keeping track of like other than Helmet and Bad Brains? Are you keeping track of like contemporary punk and hardcore at this time?
during that era.
Yeah, mid 90s.
Well, we went on the Warped Tour, so getting to see, you know, H2O and Blink before Travis,
really.
Pennywise, NOFX.
You're a big NOFX guy, right?
Yeah, that, like the way they had a higher music, like the harmonies on Punk and Drublick was like, okay,
They
this
came
is the
original.
shit right here.
You know, what are you gonna do?
They sure did.
I thought you were asking me, and I was like,
Yeah. Duh. Like, does Hatebreed come across your desk at some point, and you're like, yeah, this is hard?
No, I had
too far.
Yeah. I mean, I probably like it.
I think you would.
I just certain things just get lobbed over my fence.
Sure.
Like, I love Lamb of God. That's like some
5B,
great
baby.
workout.
Yeah.
5B. That's right.
Pardon this interruption. We hate to get you all mixed up while listening to this incredible episode, but we got to tell you about one quick thing.
Who do we got, Colin?
This episode is brought to you by Brain Dead. It is safe to say there is no brand more directly aligned with both the identity of this show and that comes original more than Brain Dead.
That's right. We've done multiple live events there. We did the green room interview and commentary stuff there. They're always involved directly with fests and shows and screenings and Sound and Fury and all the things that we all love.
Not only do they make some of our favorite denim and apparel, but they do incredible collabs with the likes of Morbid Angel, Godzilla, Brody King, and even Cannibal Corpse, which you can pick up right now at wearebraindead.com. Like Bo said, we've been doing our annual Sound and Fury live pre-show there for 3 years now, and we're working on the next one as we speak. So go to studios.wearebraindead.com, check out the calendar, see what's playing this month whenever you're watching this. At the end of this month, on March 29th, there is a special free screening of The Fly with exclusive merch. It's first come, first serve, so it's bound to be a beautiful disaster. And, you know, maybe we'll see you there. Back to the episode. So touring on the self-titled, your world changes now.
Yeah.
The RVs are no more, certainly. It's bus time. Like, when does 311 go to Europe for the first time? What's that like?
Oh yeah, we played. I think we played Glastonbury.
Big one.
Yeah, on maybe it was '94 or so on the GRASSROOTS tour.
Wow.
Yeah, but they were not ready for us. It was not. It didn't.
And that,
really
a year later, though, they were tie-dyed out, dancing.
But I don't know. Honestly, I have a bit of regret that we didn't spend enough time overseas. You know, connecting with those people. We became a little bit spoiled by how good things were in the States. So,
Sure.
But we've been putting in, you know, we went to Europe last year and we just got back from South America and Central America.
I bet that was lit.
It was insane. Like the crowds were, it was like a truly 90s vibe of like the energy that was coming back. It
I
was,
love that.
yeah.
Makes me really happy to hear.
You really do got to come to Brazil.
It also, I want you to know, as people who have toured Europe many times and struggled in Europe many times, it makes me feel good to know that
311 did
that
too.
311 did too. You know, that it was like, yeah, they weren't really ready for us. It's
Yeah.
like, okay.
And I remember as we were really hitting our kind of second wind around Amber, we still were on Sony at the time, and our manager played the video for Amber to a meeting of the label in Europe, and they were like, "It's very California." Like,
I do not get it.
I cannot relate to this.
It's quite laid back. Yeah, I can see that. So now you have the impossible task of following up this massive success. And you do that by putting out a 21-song, 68-minute would-be double LP Transistor. What happened there? Great, like bold, awesome decision, but an interesting one.
and whenever we talk about Transistor, I kind of want to remind people that there was a significant backlash of people saying 311 sucks now because we weren't doing an album full of riff rock like they were used to on the Blue album. So the label was definitely disappointed by how Transistor was received, and it was a pretty big. We just felt like we don't want to just keep repeating our, we want to make sure that we're challenging ourselves and our fans to make sure we're putting creativity first. And there was a lot of new influences coming in of like dub reggae and trip hop from England and dance hall reggae and like just kind of all over the place. And, Tim with his, jam band, cool licks and stuff like that. So where the Blue album was like, let's just make a killer album that every song's going to be great live, energy. And this album was like, let's not even worry about how it's going to be live. Let's just like go with the trippiness, the psychedelia, the, studio filigree, and just
it's tidal almost, like it makes sense that, and then we're gonna, then we're gonna,
Yeah.
But that being said, Beautiful Disaster.
Yeah, what's there to be disappointed about?
That is,
Sony.
I'm losing my mind on the way here listening to that song.
And that was the first song written for the album?
Yeah, and I'd been listening to a lot of NOFX, Punk and Drublick. Yeah, so it really, and then we'd also been touring with The Urge from St. Louis, and they would have these really cool intros, these horn, like 3-part horn intros, and I was like, we could do that on guitar. And then it came out, that sort of like Thin Lizzy, like, harmonizing guitar thing that was like influenced by that kind of like ska bands that had these like horn intros and stuff like that.
I love that you did that instead of bringing in horns. It's so cool.
And as the only credited writer on this song, does that feel good? You're particularly proud of this one?
Yeah, my mom loves the song "Beautiful Disaster." It really
mine.
Look at us.
It really paints a picture, I guess. And then because I didn't want it to just be like negative, like I can't care, I do, I don't, whatever. Like I don't, that you're torn of like somebody that is not like really good for you, but you're attracted to the carefree attitude, and
It's beautiful. And
I have a couple questions about this song.
Please.
The very first note that's palm muted on this song, there's an undertone. And I noticed you do it live too. Because you intro the song live, right? Like you start the song off.
Yeah.
And it's like gung, 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 and then it goes single string. What is that?
So I wanted to have some feedback, so I actually had I split the signal and had an extra rack mount amp that had a Rocktron 112-inch in a cabinet that I would point at the guitar to make it feedback. That would just make give the riffs more energy. So I would just hit the guitar, and then also during the sort of the vamp, the kind of outro that happened after the chorus, going do 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 do. And when you have a speaker pointed at the guitar at the time, it makes those harmonics really, really ring out.
But that
hard.
first note is
I'm talking about the actual first note. It sounds like you're barring 2 and 2, let's say, because is it 2-0-2?
Yeah, it was a little sloppy.
That's all it is.
But you do it live, which I like. I appreciate you're doing the thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I try and just have the same approach because
awesome. I love that. You also do a thing in this, and I would kind of want to find the first time a band did this. You do what we call. There's a band called Marauder that we love. They do the Marauder chord, but there's it's like when you would play a power chord on the A,
the fully barred power.
but then you also match the root to the E string. And you go dun 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 dun. You do that big fat bar chord.
Yeah. So that we knew that lower frequencies made it more heavy. So a lot of people don't know that the octaver pedal is all over all of those albums, and it's still a big part of what we do today. But we didn't really want to be like another 7-string guitar band, so we would do a lot of inversions that made it so, if you're playing like a C chord, you're also playing the G below it to give it that real dense kind of inverted fifth that made it heavy and to us without having, we're still just all standard tuning.
Just E standard.
Yeah.
Sometimes it sounds like G sharp,
Yeah. It was just by finding those overtones of the inversions.
Crazy.
And lastly, you play the second guitar in this, like with the lead part and the intro part. Had you done that prior, or was this kind of your first, like, well, for this song I need to play the guitar to duel?
Yeah, I think that was the first dual lead thing. And growing up in Omaha, we heard so many bands do that kind of thing, and like Kansas and all these classic rock kind of bands that had a lot of like the dual lead kind of thing, but no one else was doing it in alternative that I remember. So that was kind of a bit of a breakthrough, and that we've kept with us ever since Beautiful Disaster. With
21 tracks, some things are bound to get lost somewhere. Is there, even though the record did go platinum, so success. Is there a song you wish was a single or got more love from Transistor?
Well, one thing about the approach of it is that the same way that the Clash did a triple album of Sandinista, and then they put on there that it was only supposed to cost like $8.99 to force, so you were giving tons of bang for your buck. We had that same approach to say, we're just going to be restrained by how much the CD will hold.
Yeah, the literal data.
Fill it up. And the label was like, you cannot fit another song on here. So we actually wrote 30 songs for that album and cut 9 of them to be on that. And we were just like, anything goes, just say yes to everything. And I think the other guys were really coming into their stride as writers at the time, with S.A. writing music for the first, the instrument side of things for the first time, and Peanut and Tim, and before that had been more me and Chad. But what was your question? Like
anything lost?
A song in particular that you kind of wish got more praise?
I don't know. The closer, Stealing Happy Hours, is just a really nice, like we play it live a fair amount. There's kind of sleepers mixed in there. Kind of throughout, and then, but there was, I don't know, only a couple bangers like What Was I Thinking and Beautiful Disaster, and like Galaxy, but definitely had the most percentage of like clean guitar and softer songs, but than any of our albums.
Gotcha. So at this point, is every 311 show just a sea of people by this time?
Yeah.
And so what constitutes a good show and a bad show?
Well, let's see. On the Transistor, we called it. We had Incubus and Sugar Ray.
Boy, does that track.
And then we moved into arenas and amphitheaters kind of the first time as a headliner. And yeah, I remember a lot of good shows, but I also kind of started to feel a feeling of pressure, and that's when I would get in and out of phases of like doing too many drugs and then cleaning up my act and back and forth until like finally getting cleaned up. But it was an exciting time, but I do remember a feeling of pressure. Before that, we had just been like hungry, like we're gonna make our mark in the world, and like we're gonna make people pay attention, and we're just gonna. And then now everyone's actually paying attention, and like it was like a shift. Yeah.
Soundsystem. recorded in 1999. Was Y2K at all a concern to 311?
So we were really burned out after the Transistor, and we took 98 off, except for the first month we did the Australian Warped Tour, but February through December was off. So we really needed a break because we had been at it. And so we all like got houses and settled down. We all lived in like Laurel Canyon within a mile of each other.
What hobby did you get into? I'm sure you got into something.
I did some surfing for the first time. I got dogs, decorating a house, and you know, learning to be a grown-up was
that was your year to learn.
big, yeah.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
And then we got into the studio for Soundsystem, and then we were like, all right, we're kind of ready to rock a little harder again after there. I love that Transistor is, you know, embraced now, but that, like I said, there was a bit of a backlash of people saying 311's gone soft, they suck now. So we kind of, then the pendulum was swinging back towards like the heavy riffs and the palm muting opening of like freeze time. And then I remember we were like, Hugh Padgham, like this is a super successful producer with like the Police and XTC and Phil Collins. And then when he got there, he was kind of like, I just want you to know, I really don't work on the songs. I'm just going to like record them really good for you. And I was like, oh, I thought you were going to help me with like Every Breath You Take part 2.
Yeah, right.
But it was a cool
Which is kind of what you were used to with Ron in a way, right? Other than the energy?
No, exactly. It was another more of an engineer focused producer, so it was cool. But I always wanted help and input from. So that's why, like I said, working with Bob Rock was really cool because he like the biggest bag of tricks of.
There's a song on one of the Bob Rock records I can't wait to talk about, but before then, we have got to come original.
Oh my god.
My god, dude. This fucking banger. Tell me about writing Come Original.
So part of the writing of that was me and S.A. and our buddy Brian Ling going down to Jamaica in 98 to infiltrate like the dance hall scene. And like we went, because Native Wayne, who you hear his voice going, Come Original, on the, and he was like, he is kind of the world's leading reggae impresario. I just saw him about a month ago to do a benefit song for the Jamaica just got worked over in that hurricane last year. But so he had us come down and stay at his condo and told us like where to go in Montego Bay and St. Anne's and Ocho Rios, and like he was like, okay, so like the real reggae places are down here, and like you can go if you want, I think you'll be fine. And we went down, and we were like the only white people there, and like these massive walls of speakers just and we were just like grooving and dancing and mixing with the locals and buying people red stripes. And so came back from that, and like that dance hall was really in us. Like the clubs, the cool clubs at the time were playing like, you know, Beanie Man and Shaka Demus and Pliers and like this really cool dance hall music. And then, but to do like rock riff combined with the dance hall rhythm that we were into from the club scene and the dance hall, that was a unique blend. And then I had heard Peanut do this like sick bass line. I was like, we can do that for the rap sections of, you know, we'll have
Lord,
a dance
can
hall.
you ever.
Yeah.
He's slapping that thing.
Slapping that thing, dude.
He's
Lord.
beating that thing. So yeah, he co-wrote that with me, but it's almost like
it's like off time with that.
Yeah.
The guitar's playing the
syncopation.
reggaeton beat,
Right,
but the drums are just 4/4. It's awesome.
Yeah, and reggaeton was actually not even a term. And reggaeton came after that when Hispanic people started getting into the dance hall rhythms. But yeah, that's now Bad Bunny did
Banger.
it at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like that's basically going back to that same the roots of Jamaica. But
And then NoFX and Black Eyed Peas got a shout out in the song.
yeah, and Ronnie Size, because I was the early drum and bass was a thing. I was like, this is like EDM with more, and EDM was not a term back then. I was like, this is like techno, but it rocks with this. Boom,
Yeah.
boom. So that was an influence. Yeah, we're just talking about originality and just creative freedom. That's what that song's about.
So your message was all you entertainers, you got to do something original like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was basically
Where
what
did
you're
the term come from? Is that something you overheard in Jamaica?
Maybe, yeah.
I heard it and I was like, he's right.
He's right. I do.
Who played the
He's gonna do it. It's gonna kill me, and I'm sorry.
who played the boing on Come Original? Boing, you get the best boingest in the world for that one?
Flew him in.
Yeah, that would have been the dance hall sample CD that I had that I put into my rack mount Akai sampler that was made by Sly and Robbie, who I think one of them just passed away, and that they had a sample CD with all those same reggae song, dancehall sounds from like Murder She Wrote and like those hits. So I was like, it's all over. Just dropped in. We kind of put it low in the mix because we wanted the real instruments to be first. But
Wow.
Luckily not too low.
So there were
Because I've been
So there
boing
were-
for years.
well, because also we didn't talk about it, but there's,
never stop boinging.
Thank you.
there's a triangle in Beautiful Disaster also. The ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
And it's kind of reggaeton in itself because of where it is in the placement. Is that sample too, or was somebody playing?
That's actually from that same CD. Yeah.
fascinating.
hell, man.
So
So
there were
I would just assign all these different sounds to different keys and then just be like,
wow, cool,
That's awesome.
very cool.
So I think music journalism has grown in general, but I think it's become more and more retrospectively kind to 311. And I'm learning a lot. I learned a lot through just researching for this episode how unkind it could be at times. And I'm wondering when that was something that you learned to tune out.
I think that we didn't have a lot of expectations to be immediately embraced. Like, here's the next big thing. You know, I just didn't feel like, you know, coming out of Omaha that was likely. So we just kind of presumed that it wasn't going to be like an easy be
But you're
critic.
selling out amphitheaters, you're selling millions of records, so it's like, are you just seeing that peripheral and being like, that doesn't matter because this is
Yeah,
this is
and
all
we
working.
had these other examples of like them. They said Led Zeppelin sucked too, so
Totally.
like they don't know shit. So we're just keep making music straight for the fans, and also taking sort of a business model from jam bands of being like, the most important thing is to do a great live show, and the CDs and everything came secondary, which was fortunate for us because then the CD business completely collapsed.
Boy,
Which
did it.
was, I remember during Soundsystem, when Soundsystem came out online, like a week before it actually came out, and our manager was like, it's here and I can't get them to take it down because it's just a bunch of fucking kids and they're telling me like, enough of you, and delete and kick me off the message board. So we were like, okay, well, you know, we're a live band first anyway. We're going to tour every summer. And so we had kind of luckily preempted the whole collapse of the recorded music business.
You were kind of you were preppers, inadvertently preppers.
Doomsday prepping.
Yeah, totally.
You got your beans and
Rice and
riffs.
oats.
so now it's time to open the Hive. What inspires you guys to make your own studio in the Valley?
I mean, we just knew that like it was $1,000 a day to get like a nice studio. So why do that?
And that's 90s money too.
Yeah.
That's like $500,000.
Yes.
A month.
Yeah, so I just did some digging and to see that there was like this great studio that had Stevie Wonder in it and stuff that was available for rent. So the first Hive,
Oh, there's 2 hives.
yeah, the first Hive was for only for Soundsystem that we rented, and then we put our own gear in there, and we had like. We didn't buy tape machines at that point. I think that we went and recorded drums at a regular studio, but it was only like a couple. No. We recorded drums there too. Maybe we did bring in a tape machine, but anyway. And then I was like, well, why are we renting this? Because there's this other studio over here for sale, and that has our current Hive, which is. Had a really nice remodel lately. It was like this kind of hotspot for new wave in the 80s. They had like Supertramp and Devo and Missing Persons and all this like cool new wave had been recorded there. But when we bought it from the Sherry Lewis and Lamb Chop estate. Like she had filmed her puppet shows there, the TV show in the 80s. And then she passed away. I'm not exactly sure when, and then we bought it from her estate, and then that's been the permanent Hive since the From Chaos album.
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
So yeah, I guess that's like 26 years in we've had it.
Wow. Did you, when you acquired it, did you remodel it and make it your own, or was it kind of pre-furnished and ready to rock, or?
Yeah, when we first got it, we recorded there for a couple albums with it as is, and it had that like real 70s like ski lodge look of like all this like just bare wood everywhere. Yeah. But that gave us like the amber drum sound and stuff, but then it started to kind of fall apart. So we did a remodel there before the Uplifter album, and then now we just did another one.
How fun is it to build out a studio when you have the means to do kind of whatever you want? That has to be the coolest thing in the world.
It is, and then because Ron St. Germain is such a gearhead, he was telling us, he was like, he doesn't care for SSL, he doesn't like those boards. He's a Neve guy, the warm analog sound, and he was like, the very best board in the world is the AMEC 9098i, and it's made by Rupert Neve. It has the Neve sound, but the full recallability of a more modern board, but the classic sound. And he was like, they only made 10 of them. There's one in Chicago at R. Kelly's studio. He's selling it.
Yeah, I wonder why.
And it was around the time of his first canceling.
Shocking.
But he kind of recovered from that one.
Yeah.
But anyway, he sold us his mixing board, and
did you sage it?
yes, we
Did it all.
saged it.
Very
We had it blessed and
was it
disinfected.
off?
Very good.
And that is, and now
That's the one.
there's only 5 of them in the entire world in operation, and only one in California, and it's ours. Some engineers say it's the best mixing board that there is.
Wow.
I believe Will Yip has one of them. I believe Conshohocken,
That's unbelievable.
Pennsylvania, has another one.
So it's From Chaos, first record in the Hive.
Yeah.
Couple bangers on this
So
one.
we got to talk about one.
Oh, yeah.
I'll Be Here a While. Beautiful song. Love the fact that it's double time and not halftime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if it was I'll be here a while, totally different
Just
vibe.
be another ballad, yeah.
Another ballad, but it's got energy. You can literally like moon stomp to it. Like you can dance to it. The radio stations do this thing that drives me insane where they kind of fade out the end of a song and start talking over it and do their bullshit. And it drives me nuts. I knew this fact once, but I forgot about it. You just sing a Bad Brains part at the end of the song. And this is
from I and I Survive.
Absolutely, which is a Rock for Light song, which is my favorite record by them. This is relatively late. Not late, but relatively into your career as a band. Like this is something you would almost expect early, but
Now it's safe.
Yeah.
yeah. And but you're doing it and you're wearing an influence on your sleeve, which is something we greatly appreciate as people who love to know the stories and just blah blah. And I realized when we were doing this research that the key is the same, and it's kind of a 2-chord song, you know, and it's the same as I Survive. So I'm just wondering how it happened.
It
how
just
it came up.
like it just needed to be said, and I was like I wanted to do an ad lib, and nobody's better at ad libbing than HR. You know what I mean?
Wow! You could have screeched it.
Yeah, and he just the way he plays with melody, and that really his vocal influence comes from me. You hear a lot of Horace Andy, who's like the great dub reggae singer from the King Tubby days, and then he was in Massive Attack for a while. It has that really strong vibrato that you can hear HR, and so there's just like a family tree going that I heard it from HR, and then I was like, oh, he got that from Horace Andy. But the funny thing about that song is that I've had so many people go, 311, aren't you that ska band? I'm like, yeah, on one song. On I'll Be Here a While, we're kind of a ska band, but like...
But no horns.
No harm.
That's all I
Still,
care.
I mean,
that's all.
It's okay to be the one-time ska band if it's like a perfect ska song,
Which this is.
and then the Bad Brains toss in at the end.
Man.
You're fine.
So
all the credibility in the world.
So again, like I told you, when we do stuff like this, when we fly out, we deep dive, you know, and we just listen to everything. And I was at the airport on my way here the other day, and this one came on and let it play through because I had a layover, you know, and there wasn't some disc jockey talking over it, and I had like that moment, you know, where I was like, oh, here it is.
Yeah.
This is the connection that people might wonder.
Fugazi first show.
Bad
Brains riff on the thing, doing the same noises.
And I'm glad you guys have a positive look on that, because I dropped a little lyric. I remember a guy on a message board saying, I hate that song, I'll Be Here a While, because he rips off Bad Brains. I was like, no, I was giving it props.
Yes.
Like, if you're a punk rocker, you knew where that came from.
Exactly.
And it's an homage. And the same thing in the song Hive, I drop a classic lyric from the song It Takes Two by Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock. And Rolling Stone was like, that's appropriation. I was like, no, it's a quote. It's like I'm giving props to the old school lyric, just like, but whatever.
Everything comes from somewhere.
Yeah, we're standing on the shoulders of giants.
And you're being told by people who don't make music that it's bad. And that's the ultimate, like, fuck you. I don't care what you have to say. Because 9 times out of 10, you talk to the original creator of some song that got covered and was made different or made of their own. They love it. They all love it.
Yeah, but you really have to, artists are sensitive, and developing some kind of a bit of a thick skin is like a skill that you have to develop in order to not go too crazy. Like, as Turnstile was coming up, I was talking to Brendan a lot, and I know that them coming from such a hardcore scene, that there's purists that would get mad that, hey, you've got keyboards in now, what's going on? And he had just such a great attitude, and like, man, opinions are gonna just vary so widely that you just have to like roll with it and let it go, because it is possible that you take it to heart and then you go drive yourself crazy. And I've heard stories of people like Googling themselves over and over to see what people are saying about themselves, and that's like,
Don't do it.
That's like anxiety, mental institution causing if you let, your need for approval take you to that kind of place.
And at the end of the day, you guys, Turnstile, they'll be here a while.
Yeah, sure. Oh, very good. Very good. Another little song on this record called Amber. Turned out to be the biggest one, huh?
The one.
And like you said earlier, he was like, yeah, I got this other one, I guess.
Which is like, that's LaGrange, ZZ Top. That's like, what's the Peter Criss song? The ballad.
Oh, Beth?
It's the Beth, and it's like, yeah, I have this one.
Yeah.
And it ends up being one of the biggest songs, I would imagine presenting this as I also have this. You were surprised?
Yeah, I think it was, I think the true family tree of that song came from Tim making the song Champagne first, which had that the T-wah guitar.
Yeah.
And Tim was actually here today recording some T-wah. And then when I came up with the amber thing, it was basically like the son of Champagne.
Did you come up with that riff?
Yeah.
Does he resent you?
I played it on keyboard.
Oh, okay. Does he resent you for having to play that every night? Because that's one of those
smooth.
One of those Chili Pepper riffs where you can't. It's clean.
Yeah.
And it's kind of or Police. It's kind of a message in a bottle where it's like, oh.
There's no gain that can save you.
You can't hide behind it. You know.
Yeah. No, I think we all enjoy playing the classics just because we know what they mean to people now. Like,
do they take you to that time too?
Yeah, and we're there to be of service. So it's not only about our enjoyment. We're there to facilitate the collective experience, the live show. And when I go to a show, I want to hear classics that have meant a ton to me. But you don't want to only do the classics either. So that's why we make a fresh set list every night to be like, throwing little bones. Yeah.
Fascinating.
I watched a video of your Warped Tour set last year, and it's banger, 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 deep cut, banger, 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 banger.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. Reward the real ones,
Are you asking the rainstorm to take you away from the north? Or like
you've got the lyrics all wrong.
Okay, please enlighten
It's
me.
brainstorm.
Brainstorm.
Take me away from the norm. Please, brain, take me into a new place.
Oh, now I get it.
So I'm asking.
You were looking at it.
I'm asking the muse to lead me.
Yeah,
I'm a very nautical.
You were Tolkien.
I'm nautical in my senses, So I'm on.
Let the rain take.
I'm
me
at sea. What can I say? That's fascinating. Wow. Layers.
So yeah, Amber, number one song. I guess I got this one.
It's a very weird roadmap of a song because it goes like, it starts with riff and then vamp and then like 16 bars of ad-libbing and then a chorus and then a verse and then a chorus and then like a dub breakdown and then a guitar solo and then another solo and then a bridge and then another verse.
Structural madness.
Yeah, it's completely outside of the box. So that's why, I don't know, it was a very slow burn. Like it took a long time to get going. And then it really hit its peak like a couple years. I think our ticket sales, like as far as attendance, really like around 05 through 07 was 04 through 07 that's when, besides Amber was playing a lot, then Lovesong came in and the whole 51st State soundtrack. So it was just kind of a happy accident, just like letting things happen.
Music video as well for Amber I remember seeing it often.
Yeah, it was by the Malloy brothers, who were like surfer guys, surfer guys. And I think they managed Jack Johnson or something. And they were like, we love this song. We're just going to do our thing from making surf videos in Hawaii, but we did it down on and those shacks on the beach. Basically, there was this really weird little surf community that had been there forever, but the city had finally evicted them, and so it was just about to be demolished when we shot that music video.
Wow. So now it's immortalized.
Yeah, you got it. Wow.
So you mentioned Lovesong. Let's get into it.
We gotta talk about
Is this a cover you record for the sake of recording a cover, or is this just...
Not at all. It was because Adam Sandler loved the song Amber, and then he said, for my movie set in Hawaii with Drew Barrymore, 51st Dates, I want to have the whole movie have the sound of Amber, but I want to do covers of romantic 80s classic alternative songs done in a reggae style.
It's genius.
So yeah, it was like this cool
Sandman.
vision that I have to give him all the credit for. And like I said, me and Tim's band played like 7 or 8 Cure songs, but it was the earlier stuff. you know, the like In Between Days and earlier.
Pornography stuff?
Yeah. Head on the Door. And then, but this was Deconstruction. That was, I actually wasn't that familiar with Lovesong.
Disintegration.
Disintegration.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, but he suggests, he was like, you could do a great cover of Lovesong. And I was like, okay. And I just, at that point, I had, let's see, we were on tour with Incubus again, and I decided to get my own bus so I could bring my dogs with me and also have a recording studio. Now, at the time,
Yeah.
That's the life.
like this is how I want to spend my money, is spraying for my own bus. And I took out the bunks, and at that time, to have a decent recording studio, you still needed a lot of gear, rack mounts of the, you know, big Mac, big,
Now you just need
thick monitor.
universal audio console.
Exactly. But at the time, so I modified a bus. So I was like, and we were on tour when I got the call about Lovesong, and I was like, let me see what I can do. And then we did that. Well, we made the whole Lovesong that you hear. It was all done on tour. We recorded the drums at a sound check in a club. I think it was the Electric Factory in Philly.
Whoa.
We
Yeah.
played there
Many
many times.
Nice. And then and did all the overdubs in the bus, and then he also, I was like, I love this idea. How about Lips Like Sugar, the Echo and the Bunnymen song? How about Stop the World and Melt with You? And he was like, great. And so I ended up producing 4 more songs for that soundtrack, and getting Seal to sing Lips Like Sugar, and Jason Mraz to sing Stop the World and Melt with You, and Dryden from Ant Farm to sing Friday I'm in Love. And so it was like, and that all happened on this like long tour that we were on.
Productive
all from
tour.
the bus.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So it was like, that was the most time that I've ever been part of like the music machine, because like going to the premiere, and like 311 was all over that movie. Like not just those 2 songs that I mentioned, but like Rub-a-Dub off of Transistor was in the movie, in different, you know. So it was a pretty cool time to be in the zeitgeist.
Was that your first interaction with Adam Sandler?
Yeah. Yeah, again, that guy, Brian Ling, who we went to.
Right.
Brian Ling had made a lot of cool connections. He was friends with Adam Sandler, and he was also friends with Shaq, which got Shaq to be
In the video.
in our video.
Uh-huh.
And then Shaq came and performed a song with us at the Weenie Roast right after the Lakers won the championship.
What
so
song do you do?
we did a song that we did with him, because he was like, he was doing a rap record,
Right.
and he was like, I want to do a rock song. And Ling was like, 311, those are your boys. So we made this song called Psycho, which is like a rock song. And so we played it live at the Weenie Roast, and the place went absolutely apeshit. It was nuts.
Unbelievable.
I want to play Psycho. That's amazing.
Evolver would be next up.
Yeah.
What comes to mind from that era for you?
Really getting into deep diving on the Beatles, learning tons of Beatles songs, reading books about the Beatles, exploring Abbey Road and Revolver, and just, you know, I only dumb people try and compare themselves to the Beatles, but I was trying to absorb the masters as much as possible during that time.
Sure.
So you'll hear a lot of the harmonies getting bigger. Also, the ELO kind of, you know, harmonies with like singing the very highest falsetto that you can possibly do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doing songs like Same Mistake Twice, and that had that kind of more crazy vocal production in there. And then the song Creatures for a while off
Banger.
of Evolver. To me, that was like a big, to have a song that rocks that hard, that isn't one of your super oldies, that was like a big kind of accomplishment, and that's still like one of the closers that we
nice.
use.
Yeah, because you mentioned Beatles, ELO, and all these advanced new techniques you're learning late in your career, but this song is like heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Dun, 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 dun. Heavy
But
chorus.
these little key changes, these modulations that to me sounded a little Beatle-y, but combined with like it's the same tempo as Down, because Down was probably the song that made people go the most nuts. So instead of I was like it's that.
So the intention here is the energy is the intention.
The energy.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see.
How do your songwriting goals change and evolve 10 years later, setting out to make? Are you setting out to make, a couple more songs that you're psyched to play live? Or is it just, hey, let's write another killer record?
Well, I keep my expectations low because I know that it's just something that I enjoy so much to make music. And, whether it becomes as important as our other music, I don't know. And you keep your expectations low because, we're coming on our 36-year anniversary. So it's, some artists just say, it's not even worth it. People aren't even checking out our new stuff. But I know that it's something that I enjoy so much and that the band enjoys. And then also to get into, exploring like really, this kind of Americana stuff that I did last year that was just like going into really the dark caves of my psyche to talk about stuff that I didn't really want to talk about, but I knew that it was cathartic for me, and also other people had been through similar stuff, whether it was, my brother passing away or, addiction and, different things that I felt like I hadn't talked about yet. So it was a lot of fun for me to make that music, and even if it doesn't really, catch on a lot, doesn't matter. That's what Rick Rubin's book says, is like, you got to have courage to keep doing frequent releases and not, live and die by how they're received. A writer writes, and but we're also performers too. So it's like, a lot of artists at our phase of career might just become, I'm a song and dance man, you know what I mean? I go out and play the oldies, and that's a big part of what we do, but then also to keep that creativity going is, I still can get really excited about other people's new music as well as my own and my collaborators in the band. Like, it's
those are your guys.
It's all still there.
We listen to stuff that comes out all the time, whether it's from underground music or more mainstream music or whatever. We're constantly checking out new music and going back or revisiting a band and revisiting or seeing their new record, I should say, and finding a song that connects with you.
It's the best.
Feels so good. So there's no reason to ever stop. The newest Alice in Chains record is unbelievable. like
Jerry still got it.
You never know.
Out. Yeah, Jerry's so talented. I just listened to Nothing Shocking in its entirety today, and it just brought me back. I was like, this is so weird and so cool. There was nothing like this before Jane's Addiction,
Beautiful. You did a greatest hits record after this, which pre-streaming is like a huge deal. Like that, this hit number 7 on the Billboard 200, and you can just check that out with playlists now. Everybody's got a greatest hits playlist. But what's the approach like for that? How involved are you in that? And is this something you care about at the time?
Yeah, we definitely had input on which songs to include. Like, the song Beyond the Gray Sky wasn't a hit, but in our world it was, because it was a very important moment for us to play live, to talk about, people who we've lost, and talk about getting through depression and the story about losing a friend to suicide and stuff. So like, that's on the greatest hits, but it wasn't a greatest hit at all. But so yeah, we definitely had input on there, and then we did the obligatory 2 new songs to include, and we worked with David Kahn, who he had done like Sublime and Sugar Ray and Paul McCartney and some cool people. So I actually learned a ton from him on those.
So, Don't Tread on Me would be next. Opening song, title track. Is this a live staple now? It should be.
Yeah, it hadn't been, but last year we started playing it
Great
pretty
song.
often.
The decision to do that kind of like you talked about this earlier with you and essays, harmonies, how sometimes it's just there, but then you cross that bridge. There's like that dissonant harmony that you go into, where it's like the brain doesn't expect you to go there when you're listening to this song. Was that a deliberate thing, or
I
just
don't
felt
remember. It just came out naturally.
Wow. We were talking in the car, like, no, there's a reason,
what
man.
a crazy choice.
They had to do it this way.
Yeah, I remember that we actually had a big fight with our label at that point that led to us parting ways with them, because they were like, you don't have a single on this, you guys need to go back into the studio. And I was like, I think this album is as good as it's gonna get, and I think there are some really good songs on there. I understand that it's a little not formulaic and maybe not what you want. And then that song came out, and it actually tied for #1 with a 9 Inch Nails song. So I kind of had the last laugh, but they were so mad
I don't understand.
that we didn't want to shelve it. We were like, we want to get this out in time for summer tour. We think it's a good album. I don't know. Maybe they were right that the record as a whole could have been stronger, but there's some cool songs on there.
Yeah, 100%. The state of music by 2005 now. You're living through the Napster fiasco, torrents. How hard does that hit 311? Is that something that you and your peers in the industry are all worried about and talking about?
I think the sketchy time was a little, 06, 07.
I was definitely downloading stuff by 2000. 2005, I was on LimeWire.
I mean, the problem was they had overcharged so much for music. Like when you're charging $18 for a CD, and then a kid's like, or I can just have a 50-cent blank CD and download these songs. Like, I think people that didn't usually steal were like, it's too expensive.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna.
I need my music.
I need my music, and and also, thinking, well, these guys are rock stars. They don't need the money. I need this. So, which I understood, and like I said, we had more just focused on the touring world more anyway. And then we made Uplifter with Bob Rock, and that was just like a really cool learning experience from.
And had you heard Saint Anger when you hired Bob Rock for Uplifter? Or seen Some Kind of Monster?
Yeah, so definitely saw Some Kind of Monster, and had been into Metallica Black Album. So
you as an artist and as somebody who worked with Bob Rock or was about to work with Bob Rock, how did Some Kind of Monster resonate with you?
Oh, we've never been able to ask that before.
It is like one of the most egoless pieces of art ever made, I would say.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was really revealing for them to. It was pretty triggering for me to see the tension in those band meetings, and for them to put that all out there was pretty damn courageous. And then Bob would share a lot of the sort of psychological tools that he learned. If I would say, that's kind of boring part, he was like, that's a very triggering word for you to call somebody's work boring. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Or or if I would say, well, this part right here gets a little boring, he was like, let's try a different word from that. And so he helped us with our interpersonal kind of thing.
You'd say you learned a lot from, what's the therapist's name?
I forget his name.
Yeah, the guy in the
From that
sweaters.
guy.
Works
yeah,
with the
sweaters. 40,000 a month.
He plays.
Yeah.
There's something that's crazy about that documentary. Obviously, we won't talk about it that long, but like, they had Hawaiian Shirt Day in the studio. Never mentioned in the documentary. So you'll have these fights, and they're all just wearing Hawaiian gear. No reason.
Yeah.
And it's just never once mentioned. That's kind of the craziest
Did you
part.
guys have Hawaiian Shirt Day on Uplifter
Yeah,
or
what did Bob
Universal
do?
Pulse?
No, that came up over the past decade on Fridays on tour.
Oh, really?
Oh, fun.
We're
Good.
Hawaiian shirts. But
There's a song on Universal Pulse called Sunset in July.
He can't believe this.
I cannot believe this song. And to me, so you mentioned Morrissey earlier. Why don't you find out for yourself? Saintest days are mad, sunset in July. Was that subconscious or is that conscious? Or are you just discovering this now?
no, I can acknowledge what
Okay.
you're saying.
Okay.
And yeah, he's just got a way with melodies that
He's unfortunately the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is what it is. We just talked about it. Maybe not the best guy. Maybe the worst guy. No less than 1,000 bangers.
Yeah.
So these records with Bob Rock, he is not a sit back and engineer type producer, right? So did you enjoy that process?
Yeah, like he was a sixth band member. Like we all had our little stations, and he had his station with his pedals and his amp and his guitar, and he would be in there with us. And we definitely welcomed it. And he brought so much gear with him, like these weird pedals, and had Tim, getting into the whammy pedal, which, like Tom Morello and some others have used, and Tim used on that album. And then we would have keyboard days where he and I spent like 3 days at the end of the album. We would just go through each song and just add some pads or a shaker or some different.
Boing?
Pardon me?
Boing?
Yeah, boings.
You got
Well,
it.
that
boing.
was the
You got a boing,
bleed
man.
the boing.
Yeah, we're going analog boing now. We got Bob Rock on the helm.
That's true. Was this song pre-written before you started working with Bob Rock?
Which one?
Sunset in July.
Sunset. Well, no, because Uplifter was
Yeah.
our first record with Bob Rock, and then Universal Pulse was our second, and that was on there. So yeah, we had already worked with him, but then I don't know.
What I'm wondering is if that big G was Bob Rock's,
Or C, right?
his chord progression sensibility, or if it was something you had already had.
I don't remember.
Because this guy, he can't believe a G major.
I love a G major.
A
But I
big-
think that was a C.
No,
No. Right. Well,
no. Is it G? It's G. Yeah, but
we'll talk about
C
it.
would be too high.
Stereolithic and Mosaic.
I mean, the
next.
songs in F.
Stereolithic and Mosaic. Walk me through them. This is we're all at the Hive. The Hive has been ground zero since 2000. Well, that's a crazy sentence. The Hive has not been ground zero since 2001. The Hive has been the home of the recording since 2001 now. How does the process change here? Bob's out of the picture here.
Yeah, and then we're back with Scotch, who did Transistor and has been our live sound guy for a long time.
That's
Cool.
cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we met him on our very first LA recording experience when we as being Eddie Offord's assistant. So he's like, our same age. We've known him for 35 years. And, I think that Universal Pulse is only 8 songs, and then we kind of started to, there was a little bit of lack of cohesion as far as like where we should be going. So after that, we kind of took a bit of a break, and then we got back into like whatever, like the attitude that we had on Transistor, which was like just throw and go and see what happens. And so I think there is a bit of an attitude similarity between Transistor and STEREOLITHIC.
Interesting.
Because getting more into the weirdness, and then following that up with MOSAIC, where then I felt like that was kind of like our sound system period, where we're starting to get a little bit more momentum, and have some breakthroughs of doing these kind of epic songs that were like long songs. Where getting into like the classical, having some classical chord changes in there, and I started working with a couple different guitar teachers and really filling in my knowledge of technique and scales and modes and how Bach made his chord changes and stuff like that. So I don't know, that's some stuff that come to mind, but I'm jumping ahead.
Keep and grow. We're just growing and growing and growing. That's what it's all about. Voyager, you would put out, and then COVID happened.
Yeah.
What was that experience like, and then how did you use that time off?
We're sitting in
Yeah, I guess we are.
Yeah. Built a studio. And we really, like, we have a fairly busy touring schedule, but then like, so now what are we going to do? So I have to give real props to our road crew, is because they figure out how to do live streaming. And then we had live from the Hive sessions, and we did a 311-day show where we played Transistor in its entirety on March 11th, and then like once a month streamed different albums. So as a way to stay connected to our fans and let our, the fans have their own party in front of the couch and dancing around.
People needed it, man.
Very resourceful. As a band that Doomsday prepped for streaming, ironically, Doomsday puts you in a position where it's like, we can't play.
Yeah.
All right, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Technology, because if that happened in the 90s, well, I guess
What do you
record
do?
sales
Yeah,
were
records
going,
would be good.
just can't win.
So in hardcore and punk, after COVID, there was this enormous boom. And like, we're still seeing it to an extent. Like Turnstile just won 2 Grammys, Did you notice it the same in 311 world? Was there a big boom in sales and attendance numbers?
We're out of lockdown. I gotta see 311.
Yeah, what I know is that there was pent up desire for touring, but every band was doing it, so we had to the normal buses that we use were not available, so we were in like these broke down buses that had like shit that was not working because there was such a crazy demand, and like every roadie was busy, and fortunately we've got a really loyal crew, but it was different for a while, and but I'm
better
so glad I recovered. No, not better. There was still just a lot of tension over just in the air with the country, with people upset about lockdowns and masks and different things like that. So it was
still
weird.
going. Still, the residual energy's still flowing.
Yeah.
Hatefully. Full Bloom would be your most recent record, released by your own company, SKP, which is very cool. I would love to talk about SKP. Explain that to the world, what you've done here.
So much of what a label used to do has changed. You got to think about the barrier to entry of when we first started. You had to have a recording studio, and then most people, you'd hire a producer. There's tape. There's getting that duplicated, and then physically getting those to stores, and then there's brick and mortar stores. All that is completely different now. You've got, like Billie Eilish never set foot in a regular recording studio until she was already like, everywhere. So the traditional, what a label does, has totally changed. And so having like a portal where you can get your distribution, but then also to see the different metrics of what's working and what's not working, and kind of self-service your own music is just, we saw an opportunity there. And helping people become major label SKPs. SKP. Get it? Escaping.
Wow.
You just essayed all over me again. Unbelievable. Wow.
That's good.
God damn, this guy.
My wife came up with it.
Genius.
She's good.
You should marry her.
You should build her a studio. Is there anything, Nick, now, however many years, you said 36 years into 311, is there anything you feel you haven't achieved yet artistically that you would like to?
Yeah, like I always find new things that make me curious. That's the best thing an artist can do, is just follow their curiosity.
Absolutely.
Last year I was into very personal kind of Americana, and you know, did a side project. I do have this demo of a song that goes through a lot of different sections. Like, I'm taking that whole journey through different movements thing kind of further, and that excites me. And I'm also kind of fascinated with jazz from the 40s, of when, you know, jazz had like hit songs before rock and roll. There was a kind of a glory era that I've been getting really into, and you know, Chet Baker and Billie Holiday and Dinah Washington and Sarah Vaughan and stuff like that. That interests me right now. So, but then I also, at the same time, like energetic music too. Like, when I exercise, I have different playlists for different activities. Like a house tempo is good for jumping rope or being on the elliptical, and then I have like a 150 BPM playlist that is good for when I'm running.
Yep.
So I've kind of been kicking around the idea of like, what if I make music specifically for, because people moving their body in rhythm, it releases oxytocin. That's why you get a high from a great concert. It's not just because the music is good, it's because of this shared like energy field that's going with people. It's the same reason why they have at boot camp, you march, is because of the bonding that you get. People feel a real high from rhythmic moving, whether it's like dance is the #1 best thing that you can do to improve to like fight depression. Like, it's clinically proven to be better than any prescription medication or anything like that. So I know I'm like getting all over the place.
No.
Great.
No, I see the vision. I see what you're saying.
My next note here is, you're so vascular and jacked. What is your physical, you just mentioned how important movement is for what you do, what you preach, everything. What's your physical regimen like at home and on tour?
So I just finished a really good book called Dopamine Nation, and she talks about how the avoidance of pain will cause you more pain. Like, you need to experience some discomfort, because the homeostasis of the pain and pleasure thing. So what I try and do is start my day with hard things, which include a vigorous workout, both cardio and strength, and then maybe like a cold plunge, because like after that, I don't have any aches and pains. And then I feel like alive and ready to attack the day. So
7 days a week?
Pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
long?
What's the playlist for?
Not super long. So that's the thing, is like, people, you got your goals and stuff you want to do during the day, and if you, like, I've found ways that I can get it down to like 25-30 minutes, and to get that, okay, now I'm ready for my day, and get that done between 8:15 and 8:45, right after the kids leave for school.
Wow. What's the do you have like a good 65 BPM heavy weightlifting playlist?
A lot of
A
crowbar.
little crowbar in there?
Yeah, I definitely we'll put on Pantera when I'm ready to like.
Another band that loves Helmet.
True.
Very true.
Wow. The other thing that obviously very important that goes along with that is diet.
I was just gonna ask. Yeah.
What's that? What diet needs to be done to be that vascular?
It's more about the frequency of revving my engine every day. I had, I was known as the keto guy for a while. That like,
too.
Yeah, us too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then, but
2018, I wouldn't look at a carb.
Straight up.
Yeah, no, I went for like a year without having sugar or bread, but I find I have more energy now when I eat full spectrum, and I was needing. I know they say you're supposed to get into like fat adapted and stuff and then have lots of energy, but it didn't really work for me. And then I was vegan for a little while, but I was just eating so much, even though it was like I couldn't get full. So now I'm kind of just back to just a traditional diet of a little bit of everything and try and stay away from the bad stuff, but it's more about frequently revving your engine.
Love it.
Now, when you partake in the bad stuff, tell me, what do you like?
When you get a bad brain, so to speak.
Yeah.
I love a Five Guys burger with every last thing that they have on there. I make my own homemade pizza that is like this just combo and I make it like thin and crispy.
Yeah.
But piled with stuff, but like a really good crust to it. And it's Girl Scout cookie season.
Oh my God! Have you tried the Explore Mores?
I just had them for the first time last night.
Don't tell me what this is.
Dude, it's like Rocky Road in a cookie form.
Yes.
They are incredible.
Yeah.
I need to
Revolution.
I've been needing to explore less.
You can order them online
From
them, and they'll
that's
deliver.
not
I actually I think it was on Threads that I put a link to my daughters. If you need some, get them through my daughter's Girl Scout.
That's
cookies.
embezzlement, man. How dare you?
It's for a good cause.
Yeah,
Taylor's
they do
niece.
good
Get
deeds.
his daughters.
They're cleaning up the beach and doing stuff like
Okay.
this.
But yeah, those are incredible. I can't wait to go home and get some more.
I need no further information on what they are. You just went Five Guys. Your instinct was Five Guys there.
Yeah.
What's
I
your
like it better than In-N-Out
Really?
or Shake Shack.
I mean, it's obviously
That's
better than
surprising
Shake Shack.
too. I like Shake Shack.
I like it too,
like
but
Shake
it's too modern, dude.
It's very modern.
It's
It's like a club. in
Yeah,
there.
come on, man.
Yeah.
But wow, Five Guys over In-N-Out.
Now, what about back in the day? 311 in that
Roughing
doomed
it.
RV. Where are you guys stopping?
I mean, I would always make sure there was like cereal to go with us on the
one of the
Raider.
fattest things a man can eat
Yeah,
is a bowl of cereal.
It's crazy. But what about any fast food that like the band collectively was like, oh, they have that.
pull over.
Pull over. We got to go.
I think it was just a little bit of everything. We were kind of early to get really like into good sushi. Like when I had tried sushi for the first time straight out of Omaha in 1988, and they showed me like, and now you do the ginger between the bites and you mix the wasabi. Like it was all so new. I was like, this is incredible.
It's the most exotic thing. Yeah, totally.
It gets me every time to this day. I'm fired up. I can't wait to eat some later.
Yeah, we're
which
gonna get some
which
sushi
now we're
later.
gonna do.
Smash
Yeah,
it.
I want that.
Yeah. Okay.
I want that.
We have one final question for you. The people have all been dying to know. I've been dying to know. We've dropped some Easter eggs throughout the episode, but we want to know your 4 favorite punk/hardcore records of all time.
Well, I really do love Fugazi, 13 songs with Waiting Room on there. I would say that the Clash's London Calling was for me like when the musicality and the punk rock energy, was just hit this like apex.
There's a deep cut on there that I'll wake up with. Death or Glory, the
Yeah.
chorus. I'll wake
Becomes
up with that
another
in my
story.
head, and it's a week before it goes away.
Yeah.
Can't believe that song.
Yeah. And then either of those Bad Brains albums of Quickness or Eye Against Eye were
gotta pick
super
one.
important. I would say that Quickness actually has better production because I don't know, there's a little too
Mackie
much.
from the Cro-Mags on drums on that one too.
That's right. That's right.
He's a quickness guy.
I like them both.
I know, but I like doing this. He's more of a quickness. He hates eye against eye.
No.
I'm more of an eye against eye guy.
Okay.
I think eye against eye is better.
Nah, he loves quickness. He never shuts up.
Okay, great answer. Great answer.
Good answer.
Okay, so that's 3. And then
Fourth one is always the hardest.
It is.
more of a deeper cut would be like The Descendants, like Milo Goes to College, something from back then that like was like, this is like really cool. Like this, the songwriting, it's just it's good songwriting even, but it's like super punk, and I don't know if that's
a great answer.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's a common one.
Yeah,
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Nick Hexum, we did it.
This is fantastic.
What an incredible chat. Thank you so much for joining us today.
I told so many stories that I had never told before, never even thought of.
Oh, perfect. All for 311 Day.
That's what we want. Happy 311 Day to all. Happy 311 Day to us for getting to share this beautiful experience. Nick, we cannot thank you enough.
This was fun.
It really was. If you have any parting words to leave the people with, I'm
That's
sure
your
they'd
pin
love to hear
right
it.
there. Sorry.
We love our fans. We're so grateful to get to do this for yet another year as we're about to turn 36.
All right.
Many people don't get to be 36, let alone many bands, okay? So it's a beautiful thing. Thank you so much. Thank you all for watching. We love you so much. See you next week. Bye. This episode is brought to you by Mad Vintage.